Hey everyone, it's Michelle. Take two. Sorry about that. It seemed like I was filming my ceiling this morning. I'm so glad to be here and crafting with you on this Casing Tuesday. Today, the Casing Tuesday group cases a card out of the catalog. And today, I pretty much followed the sketch that we have, which can be found over on my blog later today at www.makingmemorieswithmichelle.com. Like we said yesterday, we are using the Field of Flowers stamp set. And this is a really, really pretty set. And the card for Casing Tuesday also used the lovely labels Pick-a-Punch. And I'm going to give you some hints on measurements for this. Please know if you are looking at the sketch on my website or on my blog today, the measurements in the photo are incorrect. I'll post the correct measurements down below, okay? So let's get started. We're only using 4 little pieces of paper. There's quite a bit of stamping on here, but it's not difficult. So the first thing that you need is a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of Whisper White thick cardstock, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to use my bone folder to make a nice flat crease on there. Okay. Then next we have a piece of, I believe it's 5.5 by 3.5. Again, all measurements can be found over on my blog. So I have my stamp apparatus here, and I've got, whoopsie, come on, there we go. So I'm going to line up my piece of paper. See, I've already stamped it here, so that's a guideline of where this is going to go. And I'm going to put my magnets down to hold my paper. And I'm going to stamp the stems of my flowers in garden green. Now, you know the stamp apparatus has 2 plates. So this one is to hinge step down the page. This top one, I can hinge step and go across. All right, so I'm going to ink up my stamp and just close it on top of my paper. Okay, I probably went off camera a little bit, so I apologize. All right. And then I'm going to hinge step this over 1 time. Ink up my stamp again. And you don't have to press, right, on that ink. Just enough to get the pigment on there. Okay? Like so. I'm going to put this back so I can close it up. And I'll clean that off later. Now we can add some flowers. And because this is a photopolymer stamp set, I am putting the Stampin' Pierce mat under my paper. And I'm going to start with bumblebee flowers. Okay, and so we have a whole stamp that has 6 different blossoms in different sizes. And I'm just going to randomly stamp some flowers all around my field here. Okay, close that up, and I have my chamois. I'm going to clean that off. And you know, look at this chamois. Don't worry if yours gets all stained. It's supposed to. Just let it soak in some hot water. If it starts to smell funky because it's summertime, you can add a little white vinegar. It'll take that smell right out. All right, and then rinse it a few times and you're good to go. Next, I have Magenta Madness. I tell you, I can't stop using these new in colors. They're my absolute faves. All right, and I'm going to add more flowers. So here, I believe this is the way that we stamped the first time. So I'm going to turn my stamp over and do it a different way. Okay? And I'm going to add a whole bunch of these pretty little magenta flowers. And by turning that stamp over, we're not putting our ink on top of anything else. How's that? All right, so I've got a whole bunch. I might add a few more just because I like them and they make me happy. Okay. Ta-da! All right. Happiness. Next, there's this always. I love this. Okay, I've got it on my block and tuxedo ink. I'm really having issues this morning with placement. Okay, ready? I'm just going to stamp this up here in the top left-hand corner. That, isn't that pretty? All right, now comes the fun part. I'm going to move this out of the way for a second, okay? I have a piece of, this is the Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper. I just had a scrap, okay? And then a scrap of Whisper White. Now, these measure, this is 4 inches by 11/16. And this is 3.5 inches by 7/16. And you're probably thinking, Michelle, how in the world am I going to measure a 1/16 of an inch? You guys, on here, we've got 1/16 of inches, okay? So on your cutting tool, so each of these tick marks, I'm going to hold this up, can you see? Okay, each of these tick marks, I know, I'm like, I think I'm in the camera. All right, are 1/16 of an inch, okay? Not the top ones, that's metrics, but down here, this is 1/16. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1/16. It's the little bitty mark right before 1/2 inch. So that's for our Whisper White. And then 1, okay, 8/16, that's 1/2 inch, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We want 11/16. That's the one right before the 3/4. So you can also think of it as it's the little mark before 1/2 inch and the little mark before the 3/4 of an inch. All right. I'm going to take my lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch and I'm going to use the left-hand side and I'm going to slide that right in. Now 1/2 inch is too big, all right? So if you're thinking you can do 1/2 inch, you're going to get a funky border. Same with 3/4 inch. It's really on the 1/16. Oh, and I cut that one weird anyways because I'm talking. Okay? Don't worry. I know you can do it. Next, I have the stamp that says thinking of you. All of the stamps today come from the Field of Flowers stamp set. I want to stamp that in Magenta Madness, like so. And I'm going to use my liquid glue. Maybe. Oops. It was a little crooked. Okay. Now we're ready to assemble. I'm going to take some Whisper White seam binding ribbon and just put this down here. with some mini glue dots. And just wrap it around the bottom. Okay. Then liquid glue this morning. Because this is 5.5 wide, you're going to want to make sure that you get it on your card base straight. Oops. Okay, and so many of you last week said you really liked that white on white, so I kept it. Today, it is really nice. Then I have a faux bow technique again. So I like to tie them upside down. Okay, so my card is upside down, not my bow is upside down. And then you can just pull those however large or small that you like. Okay. I have some dimensionals. Actually, I have a sheet of dimensionals here that I used up last night. I was making my team retreat cards. I stuck a little special card in there for my Stamping Bee team. We've got a virtual retreat this weekend. I'm really excited. Okay, so this is going to go here. And then to finish it off, remember, the Field of Flowers stamp set has that very sweet and precious dragonfly. So in Bumblebee, I'm just going to add that little dragonfly. And there we have 2 sweet little thinking of you cards using the Field of Flowers stamp set and the lovely labels Pick a Punch. So I hope you enjoyed today. For all those measurements, plus the measurements for using that Pick a Punch punch, please visit my blog later this afternoon at www.makingmemorieswithmichelle.com. Until tomorrow, everyone, have a super day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.